some card pockets. So I'll show you what I'm doing, what I'm up to. So this is what I'm doing. These are card slots, very slim as you can see. And that's all been stitched in now. These are T-slots. Here's the backing, which completely covers it now, so you can't see any of the stitches going through. And this is what it's going on. So this is the wallet interior. On one side we have our zip pocket with our gusset, which some of you may have seen on a previous live or on Instagram. So this piece here is actually the last piece of the puzzle, which will be going on the opposite side, like so. So you have room for cards, cash in behind it, coins, receipts, all kind of things like that. So welcome everybody that's joined. Hello. I'll be having a good evening wherever you are, or whatever type of day it is. Actually, it's still afternoon. It's 5:30. Is it? No, it's 4:30. I forgot to change that clock. Look at me. I got an extra hour for free for nothing. All right. So saddle stitching this piece in using 532 fil chinois, so linen thread. And I'm stitching this at 2.7 millimeters. So that's the stitch spacing, or roughly 10 stitches per inch. I'm going to get these, oops, shouldn't really drop the awl. So keeping those stitches side by side, a little back stitch to begin proceedings. And the rear side of the stitches aren't going to be seen because it's going to be the inside of the pocket. So I'm maximizing the angle on the front side there by not casting. So I get a lot of questions about that. On thin leather, you ideally don't really want to cast your stitches because you can lose the decorative angle on the face side, on the front, if that's important to you, that is. Eduardo says, hi, Philippe, how are you? I'm very good, thank you. I hope you're doing very well. So this is for an online course coming up, and this is the last course in the series. Of course, the first one was making the wallet exterior. So this is the ostrich exterior zip wallet. Course number 2 was this one here, how to create a gusseted zip pocket. And course number 3 is slimline card slot. So it's a 3-parter. Eduardo Silva says, Philip, can you share your thoughts about Kevin Lee Black Diamond Premium French Chisel as well as 4Z irons? Do you use them? Are they good? What's the pros and cons? Much appreciated. If you give me 1 second. So these are the Kevin Lee Black Diamond stitching chisels that you're talking about, I believe. And there's a 2-tooth. It's 4Z. Let's have a look. So these are the 4Z irons. There's the, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-tooth and 2-tooth. What are the pros and cons between them? Well, the pros on the 4Z is extremely sharp, very long, so you can go through quite a bit of leather on these without having to resort to using an awl. And you can replace them, and they actually send spares for you. So if you do break them, I believe it's 440C stainless steel, you can simply replace them. Another benefit is you can undo them and turn them around. So these are obverse irons, but if I wanted to do some box stitching and I wanted to have the opposites meeting up on the opposite side, and a couple of other examples, instances where you'd want to do that, you have the option of doing that. Okay, so you can turn it from an obverse to a reverse iron, so that's very handy. It feels very nice, nicely finished. The machining's good. It's a two-piece iron. I don't know if it actually physically unscrews, but there's a join there. The Kevin Lee ones are nice. A bit sharper on the corners, not as comfortable to hold, but to be honest, I never use them. Okay, I can't say there's anything wrong with them. I just never used them. So if I had to choose between them, it would be the 4Z irons. However, for this project, I am using Kevin Lee. I think he just calls them the French style pricking irons, which are these ones here in 2.7 millimeters. And I do use these ones quite often, mainly because I'm just more comfortable using these. I tell you where these would be quite useful is if you create a groove or a crease in something where you want to use that to put your pricking irons into. Because these are pointed, I don't know if you can see that really, because these are pointed like a stitching chisel, it makes it easier to follow a groove in that sense. But they still give you nice decorative angles to your stitches. But I just find myself not using them, and I prefer these irons by Kevin Lee. But if I had to choose between the Black Diamond and the 4Z, I would use the 4Z. So there you go. That's my answer. Both very good. You won't go wrong with either, but I think the 4Z is a little bit more versatile. Hi from Canada, says Helena. Hello from the United Kingdom. I hope you're doing well over there. I hope the Canadian winter isn't battering you too much. I have family over there in Ontario, and they say it's been unseasonably warm. Mind you, it's been a week or two since I spoke to them, so that may have changed. Now I'm going to move this a little bit lower. This is very soft leather, very thin leather. It moves around a lot. So the closer you can get your seam to the top of the clams, the easier you're going to find it to stitch. Okay, essentially it stiffens up the leather for you. And this, the pattern that comes with this has been designed so that you can use 2.7 millimeter pricking irons and you avoid cutting into the top of each card pocket. So if ever you're designing either by hand or perhaps you're using a program like Adobe Illustrator, you want to kind of decide what pricking iron you want to use and then design the card slots around that. That's how you would do it. And that's what's been done in this case. Intentional Gain says, woodworking has been my area of interest, but as of late, looking to learn some leatherworking to add classy touches to my projects. Want to upholster, have the basic leatherworking tools at the moment. Yeah, upholstery is actually very different to what I do, which is very different to shoemaking, which is very different to bookbinding, which is very different to glove making. Same medium, but the very, very different in that sense. But I do find wood and leather complement each other rather well. I originally trained in woodworking when I was younger. I went to college and got my City and Guilds in carpentry and joinery. That was my original. I always loved working with my hands, working with tools, working with natural materials. And then I discovered leather, and it was kind of love at first sight, really. But I do find a lot of the skills transfer over to leather. There are some changes, obviously, from wood. But yeah, again, I do like combining wood and leather when I can. And a few of my courses do include some carpentry as well, mainly for form making. And of course, the leather wrapped box making, that's also a good one if you've got woodworking skills as well. Yeah, but I always found leather just a medium that works better for me than wood. But my old workshop, I actually it's kitted out as a woodworking shop, so that's where I do my woodworking. Still very much enjoy that. On the west coast, Vancouver. The weather is nice. Oh yes, Vancouver, one of my favorite places on earth. Did you make that stitching horse? No, I mean I do have. Uh, I think it's one pair or two. No, two that I've made before. This isn't one of them. This is a Dream Factory little mini one. It's actually quite handy for lives and things like that. I generally don't use it in my regular leather working because I do find it does get caught a lot, but it's just very handy to have something to clamp to the table so that it stays still on camera so people can see what I'm actually up to. Hello from Tucson, Arizona, USA. Hello. So unfortunately, we don't have the guild system here in America. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. But it's been a very long time. I was it 16 to 18? I did that, and I'm a few months away from 40, unfortunately. So it was a very long time ago. All right, so going over the first card pocket now. Being very delicate not to stitch too tightly on this. Don't want to warp it or cut into anything. Scrolling down, making sure I don't miss people's comments. We're going over the second card pocket now. These are reinforced. There's a reinforcement on the inside. So wallet making is probably one of the most fun projects. It's fiddly. I mean, I can oftentimes make a lot, depending on the complexity, of course, make a large bag in the same time as it takes to make a wallet. It's one of those things. It's not a large project. There's just lots of little tiny details, but I tend to enjoy that. Find it a very mindful experience. The designing process is a bit more stressful. The making process is what I really enjoy. Designing process is like a, you're always having to think several moves ahead. And the sequencing of the build, which part gets done first, which, always got to think a few moves ahead. But the actual making of it, when it's all organized, I do find very therapeutic. So I'll get a little bit of a twist on this thread now. Just gonna let those needles relax and unwind a little bit. So what projects are you guys working on at the moment? Has anybody got anything on the go? Or is there anything you're looking to make in the future coming up? So coming up to the last card pocket on this side now. This is a very thin piece of leather, so not all needed. I'm going to put that down. Eduardo says, yeah, I have the 4Z in 3.38mm with French and Japanese. Oh, both. You've got both sets, huh? They are good. I do not like the bulkiness. It's quite hard to make accurate straight holes as well with the teeth getting quite thick. That's very interesting. If you think the teeth are thick on the 4Z, they're even thicker on the Kevin Lee Black Diamond. The 4Z are the thinnest teeth that I've found. I wouldn't want them any thinner, so I'm surprised to hear you say you think they're too thick. Personally, the majority of the time I use a pricking iron for that process, for pricking, not for actually pounding through. So come up to the last part here, and then I'll be doing a little back stitch. A couple more to go. And last one. I'll do one back stitch, and then we can hammer this down and take a little bit of a closer look. So making sure those threads align side by side. Okay, let's move this over. Currently working on some farmhouse style benches. Okay, so I guess you're going to wrap those in leather. William says a wallet and an EDC pouch, everyday carry. Everyday carry. All right, let's move this around. Right, so we're going to move this out of the way, give this a bit of a trim up. Let's move you guys down so you can see what's going on. So I'm going to snip the back. I need some glue as well. So snip the back ends. A little bit of glue on there. Thin leather is actually quite difficult to tuck stitches, threads back in so much. So you kind of got to spread the glue around the last few stitches so they stick together on the surface as well as on the inside. Separate them out for neatness, and then taking a polished hammer, delicately going along. Okay, you don't have to smash threads down, just flatten them out delicately. And you can see there along this side, that's the stitching. On the rear side, it's very much a straight stitch because there's no casting on this, doesn't need to be. Okay, so this is being pre-stitched because when I stitch these sides in here, which is on the inside of the wallet, so these sides here, so the bottom, around the outside, and the top will be stitched through this lining onto the outside of the actual wallet. But we pre-stitch this part so that it's not connected to the lining. That way we can put cash behind it, okay? Much in the same way as we did for here, I can put cash in here, and then I can put coins inside there, for example. So that's why I'm pre-stitching this side. Remember, I talked earlier about being like chess, you've got to think of several moves ahead. If you didn't stitch this part in and then you stitch these in and you thought to yourself, oh no, I forgot to stitch that side, well, you can no longer get a needle through there. So you always have to think about, what am I doing next? What needs to be done at this stage? And sequencing your build. In fact, I got several pages of all these notes, making sure that I do every single thing in the right order so that you don't make mistakes. So that's exactly how I teach my courses, to always think ahead and always make sure you know what you're doing next and why you're doing it. Okay, so for you guys who are interested in hand stitching, if you're new or you just want to see how I do it, don't forget to go on leathercraftmasterclass.com. And when you go on there, there'll be a pop-up and you can enter your email address so you get a free tutorial, so a video sent straight to your inbox for free, no problem at all. And if you're interested in that, don't forget to check that out. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It really helps with the algorithm and I'd be really appreciative. So just double checking. No more comments. Perfect. I will see you next time. Guys, thanks for joining me. Thanks for engaging with me. Appreciate the conversation. Always interesting to meet new people. And I will see you next time. Take it easy.